Hello and welcome to today's session. We're going to be using this routine that I have put together to help us create mental clarity. Now, many of you may struggle with anxiety, worrying about potential outcomes, replaying past conversations, mental clutter. Trying to keep in your mind everything that needs to be done, and the outcomes that you want to create. It's all up here in the mind. And what we want to do is we want to cultivate a sense of mental clarity, because keeping all these things in the mind really takes away from the energy of the mind, the power of the mind. And so what we want to do in today's practice is we want to introduce to you, you may be new to this, maybe you're not, this routine that's going to help you create a sense of mental clarity where the mind can then focus on the task at hand. The mind can focus on what's in front of you. And this is really harnessing the power of the mind. The mind is extremely powerful. Yet in these times that we live in today, where distractions are readily available, they're surrounding us, and the world seems chaotic, it can be difficult to focus. And we need a sense of focus. We need that sense of mental clarity in order to find inner peace and in order to have the capacity that we need to really move forward on the things that are important to us, to make forward progress, to create the life that we want to live, to be more productive, more creative. All those things, we need to harness the power of the mind in order to do that. So many people feel blocked and feel like they're not making progress, and that's because of those distractions. That's because the mind is not clear. When we have clarity of mind, focus is readily available to us. We can focus at any time. We don't get lost in the world. We don't get swept away with distractions. And so that's what today's session is all about. I'm going to show you this morning routine that I've been practicing and that's really helped me. I used to struggle a lot with anxiety. It would take days away from me, where I would just feel lost in the day, have a hard time getting things done, have a hard time sitting down to focus on something that I wanted to get done. I had a to-do list, and yet I wasn't checking things off the to-do list. I wasn't making forward progress. And this really took me away from living in, experiencing my full potential. And you may be feeling the same way, and that's probably what brought you to this session, is that feeling that there's more in there, there's more available to you. You haven't quite reached your full potential yet. And so today's practice is going to help you in experiencing that, and especially when practiced on a regular basis. And that's why I want to invite you to do this practice, to join me for 14 days of this practice. And if you do this practice for 14 days, you're going to experience a shift in your mental state. You're going to experience more mental clarity. The chatter of the mind will subside. You won't experience so much of that. When you lay down at the end of the day, you're going to lay down ready to fall asleep. You're going to experience clarity. You're going to experience that freedom from the mental patterns that you may be experiencing these days when you lay down at the end of the night, where you feel like you haven't got things done that you wanted to get done. You're not quite ready to go to sleep, even though it's time to go to sleep. You're not quite ready because you feel like you didn't get things done. You didn't make the forward progress that you wanted to make, and you're just feeling uneasy. You're feeling unhappy with the way things went throughout the day. And so this practice is going to help you with that. So at the end of the day, you're going to lay down and you're going to feel ready to go to sleep. You're going to sleep better. You're going to rest better. You're going to have more energy available to you to experience life, to enjoy life. You're going to be able to get more things done in less time, because when you sit down to get something done, or maybe you're not sitting down. When you go into a task, you're going into it with clarity. You're going into it with focus. And so you're able to get it done, check it off quicker. So you have more time to enjoy life. You have more time to be with your loved ones, and you have more time to really move forward on the things that you want in life. So let's get into the practice today. Welcome to this. And the first thing that we want to do, the first thing that I always do before I sit down to practice is I start with a journal exercise. And so the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to go through this journal exercise that's going to help us get things out of the mind. It's going to help us really set, how are we feeling today is going to be the first thing. We want to get a sense of where we're at today. And that's going to help us set the expectations for the day. Some of us come into the day stressed or with grief or whatever it is that we're experiencing. And knowing where we're at is going to help us set those expectations for the day. So I'm going to open up this journal exercise, this document, and we're going to spend a couple minutes on this. It's a quick exercise, and it just helps us sort of set the tone for the day. So we'll start there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move the body a little bit. This also, moving the body also helps us get a little bit of that energy out. Sometimes the mind is cluttered. The mind is moving faster because we have some energy in us that we need to move. And so moving the body helps us move through that, and it helps us create that sense of clarity in the mind. It helps us get some of that energy out. And then after the movement portion, we're going to move into the breath work, and I'm going to give you a tip, an exercise to do during the breath work that's going to really help you to focus the mind. It's really exercising the mind. And so what we're going to do is do this exercise with this specific technique, and that technique is going to harness the power of the mind, and it's going to help you over time create more sense of focus, more ability to focus with the mind. And so it's a simple technique that's going to be added to the breath work, and that's going to help you over time really strengthen the mind. It's an exercise, and the first time you do it, it might not be easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Simple doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But over time, it gets a little easier. And the more you do it, the more you're opening the mind, you're strengthening the mind, and you're going to have more ability to focus. So now that Gilbert's joining us here live, we're going to get into our journal exercise. We're going to start here. I'm going to put on a little music and give ourselves just a couple minutes. This one's a quick journal exercise just to get some things out on paper, set some expectations for the day, write down what we want for the day today and what we need to get done. So we can also sort of discharge that. We can get that out of the mind. We're not trying to carry everything up here in the mind. We're trying to remember everything that we need to do. It really helps to get that out on paper so we can get it out. We can come back to it when we need it, but we're not trying to carry it with us all day. So let's get into this first. So let me open up let me share the screen here. And so this is our simple exercise for the day today. I'm going to zoom in on this feelings wheel here because what we want to do first is we want to check in with ourselves and get a sense of how we're feeling today. So this is going to be the first thing that we do. We want to look at this feelings wheel. We want to identify where we're at today. And you can see, it goes into great detail here. And this is going to really help us identify where we're at in greater detail. And this helps because there's a lot of feelings on here that we may feel. We're not quite aware of the details of that. And so we want to look into this deeply and identify where you're at today. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three different feelings that you're feeling today. And we want to write that down. We want to write down whatever's present for you right now. We want to write that down. So we're going to start there. I'll actually wait for the music. We'll wait till we get into the movement portion. So first thing we want to do is check in with ourselves and see where we're at on this feelings wheel. So I'm going to join you in this. I'm going to identify where I'm at. First thing I always do is I always kind of close my eyes, take a couple breaths, and sort of just check in with myself. Start to get a sense of where I'm at. And then when I open my eyes, then I'm going to come into this feelings wheel here, and I'm going to start to identify, because we're going to start here in the middle, and these are the sort of surface level, sort of general feelings, and then we want to start to go a little bit outside of that wheel on the outer realms of that to identify something a little bit more specific of where we're at today, and we want to write that down. So let's take a moment for that. And then once we've identified a couple of the things that we are feeling today, we want to recognize what makes us feel that way. What's present for us? Why are we feeling that way? And this is identifying where some of these things are coming from. What's present in our life? What's putting us in this sense of what's putting us where we're at. So we want to take just a moment. What makes you feel this way? Once you've identified a couple feelings, why are you feeling that way? And so we'll just take a moment to write some of that down. We'll keep it fairly brief, just a couple sentences. What makes you feel the way that you're feeling today? And once we've done that, then we want to move into gratitude. I always love starting and incorporating gratitude into my journaling. So I'll take a few moments to just be present to what I'm grateful for today. Some days it's easier than others to identify something that you're grateful for. Some days you just wake up feeling grateful and you can list off 10, 12 things. And some days you wake up and maybe you're dealing with grief, or maybe you're going through a difficult time in life. And those are times where we want to take a little bit of extra time to to look for, to search for something. We can always find something. We can always come back to the fact that we woke up today, we're alive, we're breathing, we have a healthy body, we can move. Be grateful for, even though we may want better health, we may want to improve the shape of our body, we want to improve our life, we can still find something to be grateful for, that we have that opportunity. And there's always worse, right? There's always something worse. There's always situations that are worse. So we can always find something to be grateful for. So now let's take a couple moments and just list off a couple things that we're grateful for today. All right, now once we've done that, we've identified a few things that we're grateful for today and really become present to a sense of gratitude. Now what we want to do is we want to do some mental offloading. So what is our intention for the day today? What do we want to create today? And what are some of the things that we want to get done? We want to prioritize here. We can offload a list. We can just write down some of the things that are really present to us. What do we want to get done today? And maybe circle what's important. Or we can do some mental prioritization and only write down those important things to make today a great day. What are some of the things that we want to get done today? And we can put that down so we can offload that mentally. We can come back to it. We're not carrying the mental load today. So now the time is a couple minutes. Today's intention and what do you want to get done today? All right. Now that we've created an intention for the day today, the last thing I like to do is I like to look ahead. We talked about our feelings, how we're feeling right now coming into the day, how we're starting the day maybe, or where we're at right now. And then I like to look ahead. How do I want to feel? So I'll share the feeling wheel one more time. And just real quick, we want to take a look at this. At the end of the day today, how do we want to feel? So let's identify a feeling that when we lay down at the end of the day today, we're ready to go to sleep. It's the end of the day. Where do we want to be at the end of the day? So let's identify just one of those that we would like to feel at the end of the day. All right. So now what I like to do next is I like to spend just a few moments moving the body. So we're going to do just 5 minutes today. Something I like to do a little exercise. Sometimes I dance. Sometimes I'll just do some push-ups. But just moving the energy, just getting the body moving a little bit. So I'm going to put some music on. I'll set a timer for 5 minutes here. And we're just going to spend a little bit of time. Join me in moving the body for just a few moments here. So let's get some music on. All right. So 5 minutes. I'm going to do a little exercise. The goal here is just to get the blood moving, get the breath moving. 5 minutes to move the body.
Love is the answer. It's all about what you make it. Life is a journey. It's all about where you take it. Love is the answer. It's all about what you make it. Life is a journey. It's all about where you take it.
last 5 minutes flew by for me. Let's spend a few moments just shaking things out. We'll just spend about 15 seconds. Just shake, shake, shake. All right. Whew. We start to wind down. Come back into a seated position. Find our way back to where we started. Just want to cover All right. So just want to cover a couple of details here as we catch our breath now after a few minutes of moving, going into the why we do what we do. So checking in with our feelings can help us recognize our mental state and adjust our expectations for the day, as I mentioned. And studies have found that people who identify their feelings and try and get in a little bit more detail are less likely to be derailed by stress and distractions, and it improves focus and follow through on tasks and to do. Checking in with gratitude activates the brain's dopamine system. It's linked with recognition, motivation, and reward. And studies have shown that people who practice gratitude show greater persistence towards their goals, are more likely to follow through on those tasks, to complete them, to check them off. So checking in with a little bit of gratitude. Cognitive unloading, creating our to-do list can reduce the cognitive load, right? Reduces anxiety, and it frees up some of our mental resources. Also improves completion rates. So the more we write things down that we want to get done, more likely we're actually able to get it done instead of just carrying it in the mind. And then checking off the tasks activates our dopamine pathways, and it reinforces that motivation, helps us create that momentum to moving forward. Then the movement is going to help us release some of that pent-up energy. So mental clarity, sometimes if we're carrying so much energy, we don't move the body, that energy gets used up by the mind, and that's where the mind starts to wander and the mental chatter comes through. So now we're going to get into the breath work. And the breath work, the rhythmic portion of the breath work, the rhythmic breathing is purifying the mind. There's actually, the blood moves through, it reaches up through the brain, and it purifies some of the impurities of the mind. So the proteins that are left swirling around in the mind, it helps us get those out. Purifies the oxygen in our blood. It purifies the blood. The oxygen comes through, the carbon dioxide goes out. There's a movement, there's a flow with the rhythm. It also synchronizes our system, so puts us into a heart coherent state. Our heart synchronizes with our breath rhythms, and it's just a great place, health, physically and mentally and emotionally, great place to be. Then we get into the breath holds. We're going to hold our air with no air in our lungs, hold our breath with no air in our lungs, and that's going to create a sense of resiliency within us, getting deeper into that state. And if you're new to this practice, don't worry about pushing yourself too hard. We're going to leave that breath hold portion open-ended, so just do your best. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Now the extra layer, let me slow my breath down. The extra layer that I want to add to this practice, for some of you guys that have been doing this practice with me for a while, This will be something new to you. And if you're new to this, this may be something that will be difficult at first because you're just getting the rhythm of the breathing, the breath work. And so this is something you want to do your best at. And the more you do it, just like with the breath holds, the easier it gets. And that is the gaze. Now, what we want to do is while we're breathing, we're going to have our eyes closed. The focus of the eyes is going to come up and in right between the eyebrows. The third eye gaze, as they call it. So you want to bring your eyes to focus up right between the eyebrows, that triangle point, creating this triangle here. And what that does, it puts pressure on the optical nerve. It opens the optical nerve. It opens up the pineal gland. And so this is a practice, right? The first time you do it, it's going to be difficult. You might be able to hold it for a second or two, and it's going to feel a strain. The more you do it, the more those optical nerves open up, they loosen up, it becomes a little easier. And what this is doing is helping us create a sense of focus to a single point. And it's like an exercise for the mind. It's like going to the gym for the mind. So you want to do it. When you notice your eyes have dropped down, you want to bring them back up. All right. So you'll focus on the breath, focus on the rhythm of the breath, breathing along to the music, which I'll play in just a moment. And you want to try your best to keep that gaze up between the two eyebrows. And you want to try your best to maintain that throughout the practice. Now you'll notice it won't be easy at first. Your eyes will drop out. So I'll remind you through the practice, when I say gaze or gaze up, you want to remember that and adjust the gaze, okay? So the posture will be lifted, chest is open, back is straight. The breath will be in through the nose, out through the mouth. And the optic gaze, the gaze of the eyes, will come right between the two eyebrows where the root of the nose meets the skull bone. You want to try your best to keep your eyes focused on that point, bringing the two eyes to meet the single point, and that's going to really strengthen the mind. It's an exercise for the mind, both physically and mentally. And so it's going to help you go into the day with a little more sense of focus. And the more you do this, you're going to really be able to create a sense of deep, sharp focus. So let's get into the breath work today. You can do this practice sitting up or lying down, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Either way, back is going to be straight, chest is open, heart is open. All right, so I'm going to play the music now. If you don't already have headphones on, I invite you to get the headphones on, and let's get started with our breath work for today. And you'll start to hear the music coming through the headphones. Find your position, your posture. And on your next exhale, I invite you to bring the eyes closed. And start that gaze. Bring the eyes up and into where the root of the nose meets the skull bone. The gateway to mental clarity, to focus, and to harnessing the power of the mind. You don't want to strain too much. It's a relaxed gaze, relaxed focus. Now begin to slow the breath down. Round of rhythmic breathing. The breath will be in through the nose and out through the mouth, maintaining that optic gaze. And just following along to the rhythm of the breath. Taking that first breath in, out, in, out, in, out. Maintaining the gaze of the eyes. Breath too much. Breath is easy. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3. The gaze is relaxed. Relaxed yet focused. Focusing the mental power to a single point. Opening the pineal glands, activating the third eye. Out. In. Out. It's a third eye activation. An awakening. The power of the mind. Gentle breath in, relaxed, focused gaze out. Posture is alert, yet relaxed. In, out. Last few breaths of this round. Now take a deep breath in. Pause for just a moment. Gaze up between the two eyes and release the air. Exhale. Just pause with no air in the lungs. Relaxed gaze between the two eyebrows. Just do your best. Relax a little more, keeping the gaze up. When you need to, take a deep breath in. We get ready for round 2. Keeping the gaze up and focused. When you notice the gaze has dropped and relaxed, just bring it back up and keep breathing. Just like in life, when you notice you've been swept away by distractions, you notice you've gone away from your true self, just gently bring yourself back. No need to be hard on yourself. No need to be cast judgment. Just bring yourself back. Eyebrows, where the root of the nose meets the skull bone, focusing the 2 eyes in one point, activating the 3rd eye. 2, 3, 4. Imagine the breath coming in through that point, as if you're inhaling through the 3rd eye. Your energy is focused. You're taming the mind. Harnessing the power. Oxygenating the mind. Awakening dormant parts. Strengthening the muscle. Gentle focus between the 2 eyebrows. The breath keeps flowing. The gaze remains steady. Take a deep breath in. Refocus the gaze. Exhale. Relax the body. Release the tension. Maintaining the focus of the gaze. Letting everything else go. Silence the mind. achieve a state of no mind. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Fill the lungs up, hold in fullness. Keeping the gaze up between the two eyes. The triangle gaze. The more you focus the gaze in this point, the more the doorway opens. Providing a sense of direction for the energy of the body, the energy of the mind, to a spiritual point, the third eye point, the doorway. That opens up to something greater, something grander. Rhythm of the breath, harnessing more energy, directing it right between the two eyebrows. Opening the door to something grander. Say there are no words to describe beyond words. A greater power, a greater understanding, a greater connection, a greater you. Adjust the gaze, focus the mind, open the door. pace one more time. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Adjust the gaze. Where the root of the nose meets the skull bone. Breathe. Harness the power. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Deep breath in. Gaze up and in. Direct the energy. Exhale. Release everything except the gaze. Fall into emptiness. Shunya. A state of no mind. A state of something greater. Surrender. Let go. Go through the door. Do your best. Maintain the gaze all the way through to the end. Where the root of the nose meets the skull bone, the doorway to something greater. Gaze through that point. Breathe naturally, easily. Gaze into the third eye. Oops. Just continue breathing gently. Now you can release the gaze. Let the eyes relax. Checking in with yourself one more time. And one last time, let's take a deep breath in together here. Hold in fullness. Exhale. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. And what I like to do afterwards is a little eye exercise. Just roll my eyes around, look left to right, up and down, move them in circles. Just a little eye stretch, little eye exercise at the end of it to just release any of that tension. It's just like stretching before or after any exercise. That practice of the eye gaze, it does put a strain on the optical nerve, especially at first. The more you do it, the more you get into it, the more it becomes a relaxed gaze. Those optic nerves actually start to expand. The tendons actually start to loosen a little bit. And so it becomes a little easier to bring those eyes up and in. But if you point the eyes up and in, the back of the eyes open up. And so that puts a strain on those optic nerves. Those optic nerves will then start to get used to that. They'll adapt to that, and it will become a little easier where you can leave that gaze up and in like this, relaxed into it, and it doesn't strain so much. But the first few times you do it, you will feel a strain, and so always coming back and just moving the eyes around a little bit really helps to relieve some of that. But the more you do that practice, keeping that optic nerve, that optic gaze up and in, it's really exercising the mind. And so it's going to help you create a sense of focus throughout the day. It's also creating a sense of clarity. If you keep that gaze up and in, it's hard to get distracted by other things. And so your mind is actually purifying in the subconscious realm as you continue to breathe and you keep that gaze up and in. It's purifying all the stuff that's in the subconscious that then rises to the consciousness when you're distracted, right? And so it purifies some of that things and it just lets it go. So when you come back, there's less clutter, there's less mental chatter. And so that's the practice that I'm going to invite you to do for the next 14 days. I'm going to provide you with the audio to follow along with it. I'm going to provide you with a PDF that you can follow along for the daily journal exercise. And so I recommend starting with that journal exercise, just a little mental offloading, checking in with where you're at, going into a little bit of movement, just move the body a little bit, get the breath moving, get the blood flowing, and then going into the breath work with that focus on the gaze, the third eye gaze. It's a third eye activation, a pineal gland activation that's going to help in so many ways with harnessing the power of the mind. And after 14 days, you will notice a difference if you do this practice daily. I can guarantee that. So that's going to do it for our session here on the recording. I'm going to end this. I want to hang out with Gilbert a little bit, check in with Gilbert. And so for those of you watching this recording, that's going to do it for us today. And hope you enjoy this and check in with the download and hope to see you on the next live session. So I'm going to end the recording there and then I'm going to hang out with Gilbert for a little bit. So thanks for checking in with everybody else and I'll see you soon.